Hello and welcome back, everybody, to another exciting episode of Once Human. Anyways, so today I'd like to talk about inventory. I've worked with inventory a little bit in my career, and I thought maybe some of that time could be helpful in the game for all of you. So I got a few things cooking and making, and oh, I need to just do a little thing here. Got to feed my new bison, which you will be meeting if we haven't already, depending on how these videos actually came out. No, you can't eat. That's my meat. No, not meat for my bison, meat for my crocodile. All right, I'll do that later. I got a special crocodile. We'll do that later. All right, so starting off with inventory, the water tank will come later, the composter will come later, so we'll go kind of, it won't be left to right, whatever. So when you start off, that should not be in raw material. There we go. When you start off, see, there's the crocodile. You're gonna have stuff, right? You're gonna chop down the wood. You're gonna mine, well, not aluminum, but you're gonna be mining rock and getting gravel. Gravel's good for making glass and sintered brick when you get the technology. It's also useful for putting your tents down. And it's useful in a whole bunch of things with your base. So make sure that you have a supply of it. I have a lot of it right now. I don't need this much, so I'm turning it into glass and sintered brick, and I'm going to sell it to my vendor because I don't really need it that much right now, but do have at least, try to have a stack. In most cases, you want to have minimum of one stack of each thing if possible. Don't stress about it, but like things like copper ore and the tin ore, they get used up all the time to make bronze. It's the one metal that you need two ores for, and then your aluminum and your tungsten are going to require acid as well. That's why acid becomes a bottleneck, becomes a constraint midway through, or I guess until phase 2 or phase 3 typically. We are in Evolution's Call, as I mentioned before, so maybe I'll make another video about that. Anyway, so I have two raw material containers because I do, and they're both full, and yes, I'm going to either ditch it or use it. Why do I have two? Because you get a lot of raw materials. Also, make a friend with somebody who gets the larger containers. Our man Tio is rocking the larger containers right now, so he shared that with the members of the Hive. Also, get yourself a Hive. Don't give permissions to people who you think are going to mess with your stuff. We'll cover all that stuff in another video. I put my ingots here. This is all my sub-assemblies and my finished goods. So charcoal is used a lot in the initial parts of the game, but not quite as much later, but it does become useful with water filtration and a couple other bill of materials or recipes or assembly instructions, whatever you want to call it. Copper is always useful. It kind of spikes and valleys, peaks and valleys as you go along, but you need it to make electrical connections later on, so make sure you have a bit of it. Bronze is used for a lot of things in your buildings and for lower level weapons and armor and that kind of stuff. Same with copper. Copper is weapons and armor at the lowest level. Your bullets are made out of copper. You don't make bronze bullets, but you do make steel. Steel is when you can really get a lot of stuff done. Make sure you have a lot of steel. You're going to use it for a lot of different things, especially bullets. When you get the technology to make steel bullets because they do hit a lot harder than the copper bullets. Not like crazy harder, but you'll notice it. So aluminum comes along. Aluminum is used in a ton of different things that are more like 20th century technology in the game. But like I said, they use acid, which is a pain in the butt. I'll make a video on how to do acid production. If I forget to do it, just remind me. If you guys have requests on how something works, just ask me, and I just might know how to do it. And if I don't, I probably know somebody who will. And if they're shy and they don't want to tell you, then I'll tell you, all right? So it's all good. Tungsten, like aluminum, you don't make bullets out of, but tungsten, you do make bullets out of. Tungsten bullets hit even harder, and it feels like they get bonuses against certain enemies. But really what you want is the AP ammo anytime you go into a silo or shooting bosses and stuff like that. And you can tweak your guns to shoot great ones like bosses, that kind of thing. Or no, bosses are great ones? I don't know. But you can tune your weapons with that with mods. You see don't have a lot of centered brick. That's because I just rebuilt my house from whale poop smashing a hole in it. So I used up quite a bit of that, and I barely put a dent in my gravel, to be honest. So, but that's fine. Plus, we have some newer players that might need a little bit of like a stack of gravel just to help them out. Because some people do work crazy hours and they're not able to really group up with the rest of the gang. So we help them out so that they can kind of keep somewhat of a pace with us. Hides is another important thing. You're going to want to get the higher level hides in special areas and special events. I have 30 of these crocodile skins. That's from opening boxes in the Starfall event. And these have some interesting bonuses. The best way of checking them out is when you're making your armor. There's like an extra slot with the other materials, and then you can click it, and then a little list will come out to the right, and then you can kind of scroll wheel your way through it. If you have a controller, I have no idea how you cycle through that. You're going to figure that out on your own. But another thing when you are moving your inventory around, what the hell is that? Wild Buffalo Organic Fertilizer. Heating fuel at the campfire turned into fertilizer in the compost bin. This is the first time I saw this. Oh yeah, heating fuel at the campfire. Right. Dried out cow poop is used as a fire thing. How does that smell? I don't imagine it smells very good. I haven't done that before. What was I gonna do before I got distracted? Right. So one thing you can do, like, you know, clickety click is real annoying to put your inventory away. We had to do that in Fallout 76 if I remember. There was ways of moving inventory, but it wasn't very slick. This is a very slick system they have. So one thing you can do is you can organize your inventory, and then it'll push everything to the top, and then it'll organize it the same way every time with things in the same order. As long as you have the same things, they will be in a similar order. So that's important. If you go deposit all, everything in this tab, because these are kind of like tabs, right? Everything in this tab will just dump into that container. So if you're just like, I don't want to carry any materials anymore, and you go to this container, you can dump everything in there. I'm not going to do it because then I'll be like, click to get everything back. And you know what I mean, right? You don't need to see that. So right now, there's also another thing we can do. We can say merge items. This is extremely useful because things like this leftover, right? You see I have some over here, over here, over here, over here. Yeah, so if I press H, wham, it goes there automatically. And if I have multiple things, like I'm going to show you in a minute, it'll put them all away. Here, we'll just go to the scrap. So if I press H here, because it's on the right tab, it just throws it all in there. And then I do the same thing with my special. This platinum crystal gets in there, and then all the rest of this, I don't need to be carrying around that wood. But then H, and it puts it away. And if you press R, then it organizes it, so it lines them all up. I think they actually stay in kind of a random order until you organize them sometimes. So that's finished goods. Yeah, this is hides, and now we're at specials. So I have another one. This is all my special items. My crazy monster heads from this event. I can turn these into different things. This is all in development. Maybe I'll make a video about that. If you want to see a video about how to make crazy plants out of biomechanical, freakish nature things, let me know. These are catalysts. Wow, why did I make so many extra ones? Anyway, so I have an acid production thing. So it's third phase, and I have over 5,000 acid. I'm doing all right. I'm wondering what I'm going to be doing with this. I'm just kind of making it right now and still figuring out what to do. I could sell it for like 100 each and get like 500,000 just on acid. But again, the aluminum and the tungsten require this, as do a lot of whims, as do a lot of different recipes. So again, you only really need one stack, but one stack can go really, really fast, especially if you're um, doing the metal thing. I don't know why I have Chaosium. There shouldn't be here. Always have a couple storage batteries because you might break a drill. Someone's like, "Oh, do you have a battery?" Batteries take a little bit longer to make sometimes, so it's better just to have one on hand. This is portable mixed fuel. This is like the in-between fuel. This is the beginner's fuel. This is in between, and this is the final fuel. We've been getting this from pirating the pumps. We're actually called the Pump Pirates right now, which, you know, you sort of think about it for a second. You're like, whoa, what does that mean exactly? So it's all good. Don't think about it too much. So this fuel is awesome because it's super efficient. You can carry just a few of them, and you can refuel all of your internal combustion vehicles. And it has like the increments are huge compared to using the portable mixed fuel. This stuff is using a lot of recipes, so you're going to want to keep some on hand. These are just the raw material that you need to turn into something else. I was testing my pumps, and that's what came out. Silver is awesome. Always have some of this stuff. If you get a special skill, you can turn it into money selling stuff. You can sell to vendors. Anyways, you guys know what all this stuff is. If you want me to go through it, I can go through it. We're talking about inventory in general. Then I put my ammo and my animals here and my calibrations and my extra things. You see, why do I have fuel here too? Yeah, fuel to me, it's special and it's kind of ammo, so I'm so embarrassed that I put those in two different places. Oh, oh, here I'm doing a video about inventory and I did it wrong. Alright, but be careful when you use your H thing, because if you do have other things, like if you go into your food tab and you use H, you'll pull all the food out of your tab and put it in the fridge or whatever, and then you don't have it when you want to eat it. So that's bad. Why do I have so many of these on me right now? But they do run out pretty quick, so probably have 3. I need to organize my calibrations. So yeah, I have 13 something fuel. Wow, that's a lot of fuel. Gravity net generator. Oh, right. I'll go into all these special things at some point too. Let me know if you want to see that. I'm just gonna put my crocodile away. It's full. It's full, guys. All right, so I'm gonna grab these calibrations. I'm gonna have to make. Yeah, calibrations. They kind of turn into their own bin. So I am going to. Hello. Oh, right. I can't make that. I was like, why can't I make the stupid thing? I'm going to put that there and put it in a way that gets my attention. That'll remind me that I'm making another bin. I won't do it. Oh, I guess I could do it now real quick just to show you guys. So, calibrations hide. So, I think you can still use them as long as they're at your base. This crate only has 32 storage. You can't really merge items with these, I think. If I have this, is this gonna move? Oh, it does. No, I think I just got lucky. If it's like the exact same kind, and I still have a bunch more. Jeez. So yeah, calibrations is the thing. If you see at the top middle, these count as a function facility. So you don't want to have a million of them. Like, you don't want to have too many of them, but you do want to have enough of them. Seeds, I'm a gardener. Always have your seeds. Store them. You know, use this thing to get more. I'll show you that real quick. That's kind of inventory, isn't it? So I can claim my seeds with G, And then to use it, put it in your hotbar because it moves around all over the place in this tab, in your wrench tab. It's really annoying to try and find it. You press G, you pull this up. This is showing everything in my base, which you cannot necessarily turn into seeds, but I know I have contaminated berries on me. I press F and it germinates a seed. How long does it take? 1 minute. So you can make a lot of seeds if you want to, but don't spend like an hour or like a whole day doing this necessarily, because then you'll hate it. All right, so just pace yourself. Why is that an activator? That's not correct. Oh, because it was grenades, but I threw all my grenades. Right. Right. So, yeah, this is inventory too. Grenades or things. So, we make our grenades. Ice grenades are great because they only use Stardust Source. We have Stardust Source in abundance because we're doing the pirating stuff. You can make special grenades that do extra damage. We're just going to make the regular ones. And I'm going to make 2 stacks. Am I making stuff that I have? See, I should have checked my inventory first. I'm going to check my inventory first is what I mean to say. These low-level grenades, you could probably just get rid of them. Right? So, I'll grab that the next time through. Oh, I have storage batteries here as well. So special should be more like raw materials, and then the ammo and stuff should probably be more finished goods. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I have a couple there. Oh, finished goods and fuel. It's kind of like a tool. I don't know. Whatever. Make them the way you want. This is just the way I have it set up. I have my... Whoops. So this is like my seeds and my fertilizers. My regular fertilizers I have over here. So I can just throw stuff in this bin, right? Like I can take this guy and be like, you know what? You're going in here. And it will rapidly turn into spoiled food. You see that 22:59? 22 hours, 59 minutes, that is going to turn into spoiled food. Why do I want spoiled food? Because spoiled food is the best thing to make compost. So if you want to make compost out of spoiled food, you get 3 fertilizer out of it. But if you use like raw meat, you only get 1. I'm going to give that to my crocodile. So that's spoken for. But anything else you use, if you use, I'll just show you a regular vegetable plant. You can make, one weird thing is you can, not weird, is you can make fertilizer out of mushrooms. Mushrooms are actually in real life amazing for growing. They create like an express lane or a fast lane for nutrients between different plants in the forest, like inside the soil. It's really cool. A mycologist I know was telling me about it. Anyways, that's a mushroom doctor, mushroom scientist. Mushroom scientist. I put my water here because these do not necessarily move from here very well. So if you need to use purified water, say, to cook or something like that, it won't pull it out of here. It doesn't look at it the same way. Oh, 119 acid. Yeah, that's my passive acid collection. Well, they're both passive. I just have 2 different kinds of passive acid collection. And yeah, I'll show those to you one day. Inventory. So basically in the water tanks though, their advantage is each of these is like a separate container. If that makes sense. Like you can dump stuff in here. Okay, I could dump dirty water into here and this will fill up, and when that's full it'll make another thing. See, just like the acid did there. Right? The acid is dumping in here. It's not getting mixed with other things. It's not interfering with the other things in here. So you can have hoses that come out of this thing and go from it from all kinds of different sources. and it will move with them, but I think you're limited. It's like 8 or 9 connections on the water tank, so just keep that in mind. This is being used internally for my plant growing to make my acid production and for my acid production with my barrel, because I'm making it from polluted water and I'm making it from contaminated plants, which just remind me in the comments and I'll make that video for you. So this fertilizer is the best. This is the cornerstone for everything. An easy way of getting a lot of spoiled food is going on the shore and just grinding up seashell rocks and what's on the other one? Seaweed rocks. That's like the best way to do it. No, I don't know. Correct. I just did some raiding on some pumps, so I have my my mini wonder on there. I'm gonna sink this. I did get slightly injured. The red blobby or festering gel is like the best. I think you get it in the lunar event. Get one. If you do the lunar event, get one and try and get the best one you can. Mine's a little... He's a little damaged. He has like unhappy or whatever, but still super useful. Disassembly bench, this is where you put all the crap you want to grind up. Watch what you're grinding up. Like these weapons are kind of extra weapons I'm carrying. Just be careful. When you're going through your ammo and you're getting better ammo, just like use up the old stuff or just recycle it. You can recycle your gear mods here. Yes, I have not been as diligent, but make sure you lock the good ones so that they don't get, so they go to a totally different spot. Blue mods are typically useless, but some of them are actually quite good. If you don't have the exact one you want, like I could put a melee amplifier. I think I already have one. Do I have a melee amplifier? Now I need to know. There we go. Yeah, I have a melee amplifier. It's blue because they don't really have other things that work for it. Anyways. Inventory. So, this is done. Another thing you want to keep in mind is when you're... Why did it do that? Stop it! I'm trying to make an 11. So, you see how all of these are producing things? Like these are all working, the timer's going down, but not this one. That's important. So this will make it faster, split into 4 batches instead of one large batch of 33 times 4. Right? So what, 120, 132, I think, if my math is correct. So, yeah. Inventory. Something you can do with stoves that's kind of cool is you can make one, or maybe I should make something else. Whatever. I'll make one of these. Bullseye. Different meat gives you different small bonuses, so just keep that in mind. So you can make, like, I made the corn ale, but it's not perishable. But the mixed fried hot dog is. You could leave it here and not pick it up, and it won't go bad. So that's something early game that you're going to want to take a look at. Alright, so here we go. I made my aluminum and my tungsten on my special furnace. You can use it for other things. It's just pay attention to what bonuses you're getting. Right now, actually, my whatchamacallit, my water pumps are not pumping at full capacity because I'm running these things, but that's fine. Inventory, I guess maybe I'll do another video on connections, right? So you guys can, you're like, what the hell is this, right? So I can explain how this stuff works within my limited fashion. I don't know if I do it correctly, but I try to make it work and try to do it correctly anyway. So yeah, I have 4 pumps, 4 wall pumps. And I guess I could break those down. I might have an extra one. I forget. Oh no, I ran out of connections. Because they can only hold like 8 connections as well, in and out. And I'm actually curious how many of these are working. Oh, okay, he's not working. So these are all polluted water except for like 1 or 2 or dirty water. I think it's 1. And we're going to have to do a video on the territory terminal at some point too. But anyways, got to make that centered brick to replace the stuff that I needed to fix all this. But I did upgrade everything. I made everything the best. Oh, crap. That's embarrassing. Oh! Here I am. Yeah, I've upgraded everything. Look at my fancy. I guess not. There we go. So that was middle mouse button to copy existing, and then I went over the old version and just clicked it. That's a building tutorial, dude, not an inventory. All right, you're gonna want to separate your foods in some logical way. They only hold 24. Food does go bad, you are gonna need a fridge, okay? Super important. Then you can just, press H with all of your raw materials. Then it throws them in there. Nope, I didn't mean to do that. I might need to move my fridge. So I have crocodile. We press H to merge. Throw that crocodile right in there. And then I have the third one. That's my finished good fridge. This is all, oh wow, I need to sell that. This is where all my finished good stuff is. I made extra of this by mistake. And my friend made me some, and then I made some and I forgot. So now I have too much. So I got to go deviant hunting, actually, and use that up. But, win-win. So yeah, there's other stuff I can do. I do have a portable fridge. If you're wondering, one of my Hive members has this. I have the load handling and the electronics grabber and the lightning impulse regulator, which are all good for different things. So yeah, that's probably good enough about inventory. That's all I can think of right now for your basic inventory. But just play around with things. Try to get, if you're doing production, just think about your flow rates, okay? Think about how much you're gonna need at how much given time, and when in doubt, make extra, right? So yeah, this is just turning my dirty water into polluted water. What did I say? Dirty water into purified water. This is turning polluted water into impure acid, and then both of those are feeding into my barrel, which is filling up with these two, and then the acid is what's going into the water tank. Remember when it popped up when I was talking about it earlier? And then after these fill up, then they pour out into the water tank as well. So that's the goal. I'm seeing if the flow rate is enough for this, and then this all dumps out in a water tank, and then from the water tank I have a wall pump that pumps it to my my contaminated berry farm, my 4-level. How far along is this? Growth 74. Okay, that's gonna be ready today. Whoa, where am I going? Oh, right. So, water is a form of inventory. This thing uses boiled water. They need to fix that. That needs to be able to use on purified water as well. So, access items. You see I have 1,000. What this thing, I think it's 1 pump to pump the purified water into it, and then I let the gravity drain it out. So I have a hose that goes into this from the water tank that's pumping purified water, and then I have a hose, or is it a hose? Yeah, whatever, a hose that drains out of it back into the water tank. You're like, why do you have that? So that it's always topped up. It's always full. And if something happens, like a piece of whale poop flies and smashes into your house, and maybe your production gets a little screwed up, it'll still work. You'll still have some. And then, of course, I have the feeder tank. This is inventory. I'll show you guys real quick. So, whoops. So these, of course, are getting polluted water. That's why they're in a weird kind of pattern, because that's where the polluted water comes. I could fit one more, but that's 8 is the maximum connections I can put for this, so I'm not worried about it too much. And then that feeds into this tank. So this is just a collector. This is more of a distributor. So this is another collector. So this is a collector of all the roof stuff. This is a collector of everything else, like the tanks outside. I think one of them pumps to here. I don't remember, but they don't fill up necessarily. They only have a little bit because they're draining out. It was just raining like crazy, so maybe that's why that was still full. There's a Dildozer over there. They're fierce until you're higher tier, so don't scrap with them. Yeah, so that's slowly filling up. And then you have your other inventory. This is personal inventory. Even if, what do I have in here? Yeah, I just have some extra tools. I don't know why I put them in my personal inventory. Don't ask me. I'll put it in the other one. So even if you give full access to your base to somebody, they cannot get into this. This is for you and you only. And if you want to put items in there that you and you only can use, like acid or gold or something like that, put them in there and people won't be able to use them. You know, if you have good friends and everything, but you just don't want them using up your stuff by accident or on purpose, or you just don't want it to be an option, you can put it in there, and then whatever. Nobody can say anything because what's yours is yours, right? You earned it, hopefully. So, don't worry about it. Yeah, I'm embarrassed. My house is a mess, guys. My house is a mess. Apologies. That whale poop really spun me out. I had to rebuild quite a few things. That video, I guess, I'll try to link when I'm setting this video up, if I remember. And fish are inventory. So you can catch fish, you can get a fish deviant, an aquanaut. It's like a fish in a spaceman suit. It's hilarious, it's very inventive. And that deviant will get you fish. It's the only one I know of that gets you fish, and it also gets you different kinds of water. So if you really need water and food, the aquanaut is an amazing deviant. Plus, animals like crocodiles and bears and foxes, I think, and maybe some other animals, they like fish. The aquanaut, I think, only gives like anchovies and sardines, though. There's like some kind of specific ones that it gives. But I like to catch a few fish sometimes, throw them in the tank. It makes things interesting. Plus, if I need the fish, I just go yoink. Now I have, fish. It's what's for dinner, right? So, yeah, just remind me, guys, what kind of, if you want to see my setup and I can explain how all these connections work. If you want me to explain how the electrical connections thing work. Oh, wow, 179. That's actually pretty good. That means I'm right on point. I only lose one water pump outside when I'm using my stove and my furnaces. That's pretty good. And I do have, this guy is unplugged right now. It's better to have it unplugged, but still have it, because then when you have a surge, then you're going to have to, like a surge in supply, then you're going to have to rebuild it and then break it and rebuild it and stuff. Plus, whatever, it looks kind of nice. It looks like some crazy, I'm some mad scientist or whatever. Inventory. So the little check mark, that means, then it highlights what you have. It's super useful. I really like that. It's like, oh, your mixed fried hot dogs are done, and your corn ale, right? And the tasty, you eat your mixed hot dog. It's a tasty burger, and you get the ale to wash that down with. That's from made me think of Pulp Fiction. This I have that shuts off my water pumps outside in case I need to do that. This shuts off my gun outside, and this shuts off these things. So if I want to just go, you know what? Nope. I can shut them all off, and then I save whatever is on there. The lights on these things lie. So don't think the light is what's going on. It half the time it doesn't work. It's one of the bugs. One of the features. All right, so inventory, I think we covered everything. Oh. Portable inventory. All right. Oh, wow, it's all spacey outside. This is a really fun event. Another fun thing about this is you don't have to worry about damaging stuff. Like, you don't get damaged from high falls, and your vehicles don't. So this is my four-wheeler. I have it, I think, pretty much fully upgraded. This is the base kind of skin. Not very good armor on the doors, but, you know, fun in the sun. What's cool about it is it has a trunk. So if I'm like, you know what, I'm going to go out logging or whatever, maybe I don't want to carry it, who knows. But if you go out and you're, let's say you're logging or you're mining, right? You have your drill, your solar drill, and you're out there mining. Why do I have 3 repair drills on me? Because I forgot to put it away. See, inventory, so important. So you can go and mine stuff, and then, do I have something I can show you? Like, you can just throw it in there, which is kind of cool. If your vehicle gets destroyed, I don't know what happens to what's inside, but it takes a lot to destroy a vehicle. But, you know, if you just don't want to carry it around, or you're mining and your friends are like, we got to go to the thing right now, and you're like, right? So you can go, okay, access, you can throw, what, 12, is that 12? Yeah, 12 piles, like 12,000 ore, or whatever you're doing, into there, boom, done. The sports car, see, with how things are now, you can put out all of your vehicles. Oh, it did take that one away. It only lets you put up 2, huh? Oh, okay. I wanted to see that. That was my curiosity. The motorcycle does not have storage. It has more options now. Anyways. Get in. Drive. Oh, okay. So drive, you go into the driver's seat. Get in as you go on the back. That has a certain word that is used that YouTube might not like. It's, you know, riding bitch, whatever. So that's fine. I put flames on the side to show how fast it is or how damaged it is. I don't know, depending on the situation. So people stay away because of the explosion. This is something that happens that I'm not happy with. You need your vehicle and you can't get it. Hey, look, it has a trunk too, but it only has 8 spots. Okay? This is modeled after the Dukes of Hazzard, which is an old-timey show that I watched as a kid. Lots of fun. They fixed the sports car, so it actually handles much better than it used to. It used to be so tail happy. You were like, you're making the grimace face the whole time you're driving. You're like, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. And some people like that feeling when they drive, but you know, I like it only for a little bit of time usually. Inventory. Grab that saffron. Good for that, you know, breeding fertilizer. So far, things are going pretty well. The homestead has been repaired. I don't really like this gray in the middle. I'm going to fix that. Hopefully you guys aren't like, what the frick, man? I thought you were doing inventory. But I'll talk about inventory when I do this, perhaps. What do I want? I kind of want that one, but this one's a new one I got. We'll see how this looks. It's kind of similar to the high-end marble, kinda. And these are all half height walls because of the floors. This is where my garden is. So I make them half as high so I can stack up the garden stuff. Yes, I realize that this is not here. I need to reorganize my garden. So yes, that is triggering my OCD. Thanks for reminding me. I'm just kidding. So, where were we? Why is the thing I was doing not in the recent? Whatever. Alright, so this is called brown wainscoting. There's a green version. My house used to be green, but since this is the new and improved, hopefully whale poop proof building. It's not whale poop proof, but, you know, we can dream. That's actually not bad. That's not bad. I like dark colors. I can keep things like that. And then, yeah, this is like a roof for my buffalo. Blue buffalo. Bluebee. BB. What do you want to be called, buffalo? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Ah, she doesn't care. She's just happy she's not out in the wilderness being crocodile food. You cannot paint these, and you cannot paint these with those things. I don't know. I really like this marble design. I think they did a fantastic job. This would be a floor wallpaper. I could do this. I don't know. I'm okay with that wood look right now. It's kind of classy. So your building is kind of like your inventory too. Make sure you save your blueprints on a regular, like at least every week, save your blueprint of your house because, you know, you never know, whale poop might hit it. You might need to rebuild it. That's something else I could have done. I could have rebuilt my house from my blueprint, but I had an old blueprint, so I kind of got caught out on that one. So, anyways, thanks for watching the video, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully there was some information that was useful to you. If you've any other inventory questions or any other questions related to the game, let me know, and I might just have an answer for you. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you next time.